about that. I should have done that earlier. I've been sort of trying to protect. So yeah, so just step it out. The six things that you're doing each week. You have a regular strategy with your LinkedIn.
Okay, so what I do is yep. Monday I do creativity.
Yep.
Tuesday I do a business product post.
Yep.
Wednesday I do insight.
Yep.
And it could be a business insight, could be personal insight. I try and sort of align it more business-wise during the week. And Saturday is Thursday I do creativity again. Friday I do business product post, and Saturday I do another insight. What I've managed to do is I've managed to build a library app of videos of different ideas, relating to insights and contentment and happiness and
fantastic
consistency, and there's so many topics. It's never an end.
We're going to see this, I think. But those videos, where do you place those videos? Are you putting them on YouTube? And
okay, all right. So number one, they get used. I put them into Dropbox.
Yeah.
I've got a folder in Dropbox where I've got all these, and then I go in. Like this morning, I did one about work environment. So I do it at the beach, by the way, on Bondi Beach.
Nice.
So in the background, I've got the sea, and people love it.
It's not my favorite beach in Sydney, though, Roy. You know which one's my favorite?
No.
Manly. You know
okay,
what?
no. I'm not going to drive all the way to Manly to do this for you.
Yeah, no, the only reason I say that is Manly has a space to be able to play beach volleyball, whereas Bondi doesn't, I don't think so.
I disagree with you, sir. There's lots of volleyball courts.
Is there? Oh, okay.
On Bondi and Summit. Lots and lots and lots.
All right, sorry.
Yeah. But anyway, so what I would do is, is I've now created like a backdrop for these videos, and I'm getting huge amount of consistency of engagement based on people they're looking for it. I mean, I can see that the following I'm getting. So that's what I'm doing over there, and slowly but surely I'm getting business inquiries, but obviously I'm not getting enough.
Yeah.
And so that's what I'm trying to do, is I'm trying to drive more business. I'm trying to get to a point. So I clearly understand that, there's a number of touch points that you have to do to start doing business with people, but not doing enough of that. My business one, what I do a lot of the times is I tag my business name into my personal post, which then immediately pushes people. So I've got to somehow, with the help of you guys, I've got to start to up the amount of people that are following the business post.
Right.
I've got to up the amount of followers that I have in the business world, the business posts, the business pages, which is not happening at the moment.
Yeah.
Content-wise, I will have lots of images, lots of videos. If you want me, I can upload all those videos into YouTube if you want, or I can give you I can share the Dropbox folders. I have created, so I've done this before, so this is not new to me. I create a folder with images in, and I'll share it with you guys so that I keep adding images into there.
Great.
So once you start with the posts, you've got a library of prints to go to.
We use Dropbox as well, so
yeah.
That's
Okay, well then, so that's the first thing, is I'll create a Dropbox folder.
Yeah, you are almost, based on where you're at and what you've just explained, you are absolutely cherry ripe to use our approach, right? And the good thing is, our approach, as I said to you the other day, I have never ever had anybody say, "Oh, that was a really bad experience. Oh, I lost lots of money." Because realistically, often that's because they didn't perhaps explain what they were going to do for you in the first place, and didn't perhaps explain the parameters of what social media can do. I think often people have this expansive view that it can do certain things that it can't, and or they are using it. We're called social media marketers for a reason. We're not called social media salespeople, right? Basically, at the end of the day, Roy Kowarski Kowarski is a very good closer, right?
Yeah.
Our challenge is to give you as many people to close as you possibly can, right? So
Yeah.
that's what we aim to do. So I thought I'd do a couple of things. So Emily has provided it, but because I wanted you to understand what it actually means by these sheets, we can give you these pieces of paper. And so there's a lot of things that, as you said, because you've been doing it for a while and you know what you know, I just want you to pick up. There might be a few things that that might challenge your thinking a little bit, right? There's other few things you're going to go, wow, this timing is perfect, because I think stuff that you probably used to do, and if you had somebody helping you around the LinkedIn early days, the good thing about LinkedIn, particularly in the last 6 months, it's become quite expansive around things that you can do that you couldn't do previously, right?
Yes.
So it's got events now. It's got, through your company page, you can do events. You can invite people to your company page. You can basically integrate a lot of that stuff, right? So the way I sort of see it, if I'm looking at a helicopter view, Roy, from what you've just told me, we are perfectly placed to build the resource that you have created as Roy and leverage that now into making you a much bigger entity as out there branding, right? Because that's the spin-off benefit. And you by making that, there's possibly anyway. So that's what I think. I'm really confident and pleased that the timing would appear good. I'm going to just share my screen if that's okay. I've got the.
I just want to add one thing into the mix here, because this is just something so that you know about it. So there's a lot of these business sites on Facebook, business, and whatever they're called. And people put a recommendation on there regularly, to say, I'm looking for someone that can help with a soundboard, and then 30,000 people try this person, try that one, try this, try that. To me, that is an absolute waste of time, because if someone's putting that up there, who they're going to choose out of that.
Roy, I hear you. I tell my BNI never recommend me on those things, right?
Correct. I
thank people
I just pass those by. The other thing is that I've had probably on my Facebook, when you eventually get logged in and whatever, you'll see I've had maybe 10 or 15 different inquiries on through the webs, the Facebook, and those I haven't converted one of them, because people ask you information on there and then they never ever respond. So I found that to be absolute hopeless. That people take. I just can't get my head around it. Somebody can take the time and trouble to send you a message on Facebook. Can you help with this? And then you say, well, send me your email so I can give you more information, and you start engaging and you never hear another word. And why would you actually reach out in the first place?
Exactly.
Your experience, my experience, Roy, both in BNI and in the business world over the last decade is very aligned, just so you know. So I have exactly the same experience. Right? At least in your world, it's not quite as higher education, right? So at least your world, the education is, we can make all sorts of products to suit your business needs, right? Whereas in our world, the product requires a high level of explanation, how it differs from other products and services. And often, I don't know if I've said this to you, Roy, but often we work with people who distrust Facebook and Google, but they trust us, right? So it's kind of it's an unusual. They kind of know that they kind of need to use it. But what you just explained around BNI, particularly in Sydney, but I've seen a lot in other parts of the country, and even my own BNI, it's their only approach to Facebook. It's basically it's a referring people to these groups where people are after somebody to do something for peanuts or nothing. Right.
Yes. Do you mind if I just I just got to make one phone call to my VA?
Of course.
An email that needs a response and needs an immediate response.
And no problem. We got time. Yep.
No, it'll take me exactly a minute.
We actually, just for Emily's benefit, I actually, someone like Roy getting this sort of call tells me he's already busy. So we just want to make him even more busy.
Yeah, we just.
I'm going to work out when we do these calls how many times he gets these texts and things, because I reckon on average On average,
There's
when we're doing
there's
it,
an
it's 10
email
to 15 minutes.
from Madeleine at Momentum Media.
Okay.
I'll forward it to you now. It's easier if I just forward it to you. So if we can get this signed off today, we can have this made and it can leave next week. So we should be able to make it. But it needs to be signed off, and so we need to check with Tony. All right. So I'm just on a Zoom call at the moment. So if you can attend to that, I've just forwarded it to you.
Okay, October 9.
Yeah. All right. I'll give you a call just now. I just wanted to just get you started on that.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Okay. Cheers then.
Okay.
Okay. Sorry.
All good.
You know, that's the one beautiful thing about having an assistant is that literally, you know, all I have to do is make that one phone call and then the whole process starts without me.
Yep. That is great.
Right. I'm all ears again.
Awesome. So, yeah, so we were just confirming that really BNI and Facebook groups aren't especially a great strategy for most businesses. Well, certainly businesses like ours, right? There is certain businesses where it is actually quite a good strategy. But the other thing you find, Roy, is I don't know if you've noticed this up in Sydney, but it's often people from BNI chapters almost just shouting out for their person, right? So you'll actually have very strong chapter groupings going, oh yeah, my plumber's the best, and or this,
Got a
that, and
couple
the
of
other.
no. The thing is, the people that I'm talking about are people that are in my network that that I've done work for, and they are genuinely recommending me because they've had a good experience.
Exactly.
But the people that are putting the posts up, they're not looking for that.
Yeah. You know what I do?
If you
I was only going to say,
if you go on to
a good idea for you to do. So I never respond to the person that's put that up, right? I say thank you to the person who's referred me, because a bit like you've just said, it's generally a genuine person that's had a good experience with us. What I do is I copy the person's details in Facebook and I go looking for them on LinkedIn. And I say, if you're genuinely interested in speaking to someone that around social media, then please have a conversation with me. So basically,
that's a bit of a
yeah, that's how I do it, because to me, often people are using Facebook the way they should be using LinkedIn. That's the other thing, right? So anyway, we'll talk about that. As I said, I think there's going to be a lot of advantages to the things that you're already doing that are working well with you. We just want to kind of look at it from that business perspective. How can we make it work better for you? And clearly, in our mind, because of the way you do business, there's going to be a lot of synergies, because I think on that basis you'll go, oh yeah, I used to be told that by other people, but then now I'm talking to these guys and they tell me this might be an approach to consider, right? And it works for me, or that sort of thing. So ultimately, I have in the back of my mind, we want to be the best social media marketer that you've experienced, right? We're not in this. We're not doing this because we don't want you to win. Because if you win, we win, right?
100%.
Yep.
And that's the strange part, you see, is that the last guys that I worked with, they saw the network that I'm in.
Yep.
And I said to them, if you do a good job with me, my network leans on me to say, like, did you have a good experience?
Yeah,
like
exactly.
The minute I'd spoken with you, Steve, and I'd have finished our conversation, I phoned Tiz, and I said to her, Tiz, what's your experience?
Yep.
Once Tiz said to me, I'm in. That's me.
Yep.
I don't have to look any further.
And I think that's the good fortune that we have now as part of our BNI network, isn't it? And so I'm very happy to have met Tiz, and I'm very happy to have met you. So that's for sure, because it's great to work with people who genuinely, it's about relationship first, and then we work it through, right? So, and so I'm going to go live in terms of what Emily has done for you. I'm going to work off the live screen, if that's okay. So the first thing is, clearly you've done, you've got your Google My Business set up. You've been working. We would be disappointed if you don't. The thing is, do you do anything specifically to get your reviews?
I send every time I send an order out.
Yep.
Within 2 days, we send an email to say, how was your experience of working with us? And I send the link to say, please, can you give us a Google review?
Okay.
Great.
Yep. Awesome. We've got a little.
Not enough people do it.
Yeah. No, I think
People are wrapped people are wrapped with what they have, and so I've now instituted a second step with my assistant. I said, now we're going to follow up to say you were happy with everything. You know, is there a reason that you can't, or do you want us to help you with the review? But I'm very reticent to write the review for them because that is totally unauthentic.
No, exactly. So the only reason I was asking that, and Tiz has seen it, but we use a little reputation tool called GatherUp, and we,
Yeah.
but you know, we'll get beyond this side of things. But basically, whenever we work with someone, this GatherUp tool sends them, you know, how was it? How likely are you to refer
Perfect.
to somebody else? You, in your line of work, particularly who you're working with, right? So because you work with agencies and those sorts of higher end businesses, you really do want them to give you feedback, because this little tool asks genuinely, it just asks for feedback. And then the next thing, and what do they call it when it's, you know, how likely would you be to refer us? That's what it asks.
Yeah.
And then no matter what response, whether it's good or bad, I mean, clearly most of the time. So the other thing is it avoids that sort of whether I've had a really good experience or a really bad experience is typically how you get reviews, right? You either have someone that's had an absolutely stunning experience, or they've had a really bad one and they want to tell people, right? So, but this avoids that. This kind of just asks them for feedback. How can we get better? Would you refer us on? And then it actually does the hard work for you. It actually sends them the links for both Facebook and for Google. And it just says, oh, look, reviews are really important in a business like ours. It would be great if you would take the time.
Perfect.
And then again, it does it. It follows up a couple of times too if they don't do that. So, so just something to be that you might use. Yeah. Then I notice here, just for your interest, it's interesting that Facebook is the second. So firstly, I should say, out there branding, clever name. Interesting that no one's actually trying to go over the top of you here, you know, with any ads or anything along those lines. So that's a good thing, right? So no one's really competing for that name, as in not the out there branding, that is your name, but everything that lists down this page is you, right?
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome. I'd be pretty happy with that if that's my business, right? And so realistically, you've effectively got an entire page that is dominated by your business with no one trying to.
But just go down a little bit. There is one there that's not me.
Could be a cafe or something.
Out there brands, I think it says.
Okay. But realistically, this is unusual.
Yes.
Clearly, if you're a mortgage broker or if you're in other industries, but even with branding and promotional products, you would think someone might want to cut your lunch a little bit, right?
Yes.
This is a good thing for you. The other thing is, whilst Facebook, it's interesting. So Facebook actually comes up. I would have expected that you potentially would come up and right ahead of your brand almost. But again, you could see that even though you haven't got the exposure from a search perspective, it's actually your business brand on LinkedIn that's stronger, right? From a search perspective, which is not why we're here today, but realistically, it's just interesting to note that Facebook, then LinkedIn, are your second most two searchable things. Just so you know.
So have a look under LinkedIn. The next one under LinkedIn, it's out there brands. I've never seen that before. That's not me.
It's a logo printing company. Okay. It's in Atlanta by the look. So again, probably no skin off your nose. So
yeah.
So what I'll do here is, so what we normally do is we step through to the website, right? So you've got this but I just thought I'd walk this through with you, right? Just to make sure that, because I noticed when we do the screenshots, you only get the first screen or two. I think I've said this to Tiz, right? You're a big business. Can you see this okay? Yeah. You're a big business nowadays. I would suggest you might consider having a 1-300 number. They're not expensive, right? They're $15 a month. You can get them for.
Right? I've got a 1-300 number.
You have? I would put it.
I've got a 1-300 number. Yeah.
Does it redirect just to your mobile?
Yep.
Yeah, I would put it there, right? So as marketers, well, as not as marketers, as consumers, we've been taught. This is a beautiful website, right? Been really it's well presented for your client and everything. So it's a beautiful website. But let me just cast an eye over it for you, just so you understand the way we look at things nowadays, right?
Yeah.
So we look at things from the top left. What are you about? Out there branding. There's the logo. It's exactly where we expect to see it, right? Then we go down. It's about promotional product. You're kind of positioning me here, right? Everything, amplify your brand, leverage your exposure. There's your positioning statement right there, Emily, right? For everything we would be doing, that's your positioning. Amplify your brand, leverage your exposure, right? It's all about promotional product power, right? it's a big space to use. This is actually my side thing, so it's actually a bigger screen for me at the moment. But realistically, not only as far as contact, so you've got your two things, right? We're lazy. Just understand that we're lazy, right? So these are pretty good. They're nice big buttons, but it does require me to go to them, right?
Yeah.
The call to action, you've really got two. You've got to get in touch, or you've got to phone us. And the phone us makes you look a little bit smaller than you are, right? Just so you know. In a perfect world, I'd suggest you have maybe all your socials could be up there, and potentially even your email, right? So that we can visibly see them, how you can contact us.
Yeah.
And I think that you might want to consider a slightly stronger push around something that, from a call to action. What is it? What's in season? What's hot right now? You know what I mean? That sort of thing. There's probably an opportunity here just in terms of this opening. So as I scroll down slightly, then you're starting to get these bigger sort of deals, right? And then you've got this video, and I know your socials are down here. So in any way, just because that's our opening page, just understand we're lazy, right? People are typically lazy. So ultimately, the only purpose for them doing this exercise potentially is just to contact you. They want to contact you. So you've got the phone number, but just give them an incentive so that it makes it easy for them. Some of those beautiful products that you've got, some of the new things, and as I said, seasonal. So the next thing that we do look at is your LinkedIn, right? So because you've got so many already established, we just go from here. And the good thing is, just so you know, this is what we want to see, opening to a new tab, right? Often people make the mistake of opening over the top of their website, and then you lose them, right? You lose them to this land, okay? So as you said, you've got how many followers at the moment? Does this tell me? It'll tell me. Sorry, people trying to get in touch. I go to your about here. And so so this is one day ago. Are you posting the same thing that you're posting yourself? So that every second day, or where's this one's coming from?
No, this is coming, and this was coming from a complete different angle. It's definitely not the same content being posted on this compare. So this is what my girlfriend has been helping me with part time until you guys take it over.
Yeah.
So the idea was that she would post on a Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.
Yeah.
So that was until you guys came aboard. So I'll be guided by what you say I should be doing.
Yeah. So you've got 228 followers. You should be able to build that pretty strongly now, right? Because there's ways you can do that pretty quickly. So effectively, again, as you've said, you've been doing this for a while. Even if it is the girlfriend, the reality is you've got at least a habit that's sitting in there, right? So that's the positive. Let me just have a look at what the habit looks like. So I don't know when to pull this trigger on you, right? But the reality is what is happening here with these posts is they're educational. Here we go. This one's good. So, this one's is better in terms of getting them into contact with you. This one, we read posts, right? We want to know what. So basically, there's only two reasons to do any social media posts, right? And that is either to entertain. You're not really in the entertainment business, although you do slightly cross over, or educate. Realistically, you need to educate both the people that already know you and the people that don't know you why you're the person to go to for your promotional products, right? So it's all about education. So all these posts you should consider as a soundbite. They're just a soundbite to educate something about your business. And then that soundbite, I should be able to find out more back on the website, right? So, and not only that, so in other words, in actual fact, I'll get to the next point, but does that make sense? The idea is whenever we do these posts, 80% of the time, we would always have how you can find out more. Yeah. So that's the point there. I can get to you because I know Roy works here, so I'm just going to click through to go to you next. I'm just going to, even with your own post, I doubt you're doing this with your own post, but just a tip. We would talk about it in a planning session, right? But the tip to make yourself even more all-star, because you are all-star, don't get me wrong, right? but there is things to make you even more all-star. Firstly, just so you're aware, remember, we don't really need to sell, right? So I don't mind this, but I don't know that you need to put your logo here, right? I actually think you can put your business and you can have a snapshot of products and things that you provide. But
okay, all right. So what's on the LinkedIn thing? I've done this research and I've tested things in the last 2 years,
yeah.
and all the experts on LinkedIn have said to me, your brand, your company name must be there, and you should show some products.
Yeah.
So I've tested
agree.
this
I'm
out
not
for
saying you
the
don't show
last
some
2 years.
Well,
No. So there's certain things that I've tried and I've tested, and I've been monitoring the progress and what works and what doesn't work. And there are things that there's no reason for me to change something if I've managed to see that it's working now.
Okay.
So I appreciate what you're saying, but
I'm only talking about tweaking here, right? I know,
yeah.
Roy.
So for instance,
I'm going to tell
as
you
an example,
I'm just going to tell you
sorry.
why.
So as an
Yes. Okay. So okay. You can tell me your experience, and then I'm just going to explain the psychology behind why. Okay.
yeah. Okay.
No, Roy, you were going to tell me just an example.
So what I'm saying is, so what I found is that when I was posting about video brochures, I did it for a whole month where every single business post was a video brochure post, and my banner showed video brochures all the time. I had more engagement in that month than in all the months before then put together, because the alignment of the images of the video brochure, people when they looked at my profile, they first of all they saw the post about the video brochures. They then checked out my profile, and my profile verified pictures of video brochures. So now I'm doing Spuds units, and so therefore that's why you'll see the Spuds units on there.
Yeah. So all I'm saying in this example is don't flick the merchandise. The merchandise is fine. I like it, right? But what I'd say to you, so remember we had that conversation. How much do you dislike it when someone comes to you and the moment after you've connected with you, they're trying to sell you something?
But I'm not selling them anything.
No.
This is what they're seeing.
I know you're being defensive. How much do you dislike it when someone asks you that they want to sell you straight away? That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm asking you. I'm not telling you that you're doing that.
My answer to that is that when you're offering something to somebody, it's very different to them going to your profile page to have a look at you. You're not forcing them. You're not forcing anything on them. And you're not selling anything to them.
Yeah, there's only one element that I'm telling you that I don't like about your cover, right? And that element is the fact that as soon as you put your logo out there branding on your cover image, you're selling me. And they're scared. People are scared of you potentially, right? Oh, he looks expensive. He probably works with high-end brand. He probably just wants to sell me the moment I connect with him, right? So what I'm telling you is I like the visuals, and you can use those stands. You can even use the one that actually has your brand on it, right? But what works, and the psychology of social media is that we hate to see branded things in our news feed, and as soon as we put it, even in this, it straight away says, I really only want to connect with you because I've got something to sell you. Basically, it's the psychology. So I'll give you an example if that's okay. Anyway, the only reason
let's move on, Steve, because I'll be honest with you, I'm not looking for help on how to do my LinkedIn, my personal thing. I've been doing it for 2 years.
Yeah.
I'm not looking for any help on that. I want you to tell me what you're going to do, and I'm getting a little frustrated because the amount of time we're spending on things that I don't need any help with.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm not looking for any extra input. I've got 3 consultants that I'm working with around the world, one in America, one in Dubai, and one in Australia. It's giving me the same consistent message. So I'm not looking for that information. I don't need it. Thank you. So tell me how you can help me with my business page of LinkedIn. Tell me how you can help me with Facebook. Tell me how you can help me with Instagram and YouTube. That's what I'm interested in. That's what I've come to you for.
Yeah, I understand.
And now we've spent probably 20 minutes of you explaining to me about what I should do and what I shouldn't do on my LinkedIn page. I don't need that. I'm not looking for that. If I needed that, I would have told you in my brief that I'm looking for my personal page. I'm looking for input. I've spent a lot of money and I've dealt with a lot of professionals on it, and I'm pointed in the right direction because I see the engagement. I see the kind of people that are asking to connect with me. I see the questions and the comments that come. People are not seeing this as selling to them, because if they were, they'd do what I do. When somebody connects with me and they send me a note, I delete it and I'm gone. It doesn't happen with me.
Roy, I think we only spent 3 minutes on it, and I was only trying to just explain. It's important because
All right, okay, well, whatever. But I'm just saying, it's it's half an hour since we've been on here so far. 11 o'clock, I've got another appointment. So I presume you guys don't have the whole day to do this.
no, I agree. No, I certainly don't. And as you said, it might be if there's going to be certain things. It is important. The only reason I was saying that, Roy, is you've already explained to us your LinkedIn is fantastic. What we're just trying to do is have you understand what we would do slightly different um, from a business brand perspective. And one of the reasons, and so maybe I'll just do that as you said. I'll just go through that process. But based on, I am a little mindful of your reaction in that we may not be able to, Roy. If you may have, I mean, again, I'm aware that you've been burnt by others, so you just need to understand our psychology, and we understand it. Perhaps it's our focus, right? Just so you know, right? So where there's certain things that you're doing that it makes sense. I completely understand why you would be successful on your social side of things because of your personal and people like Roy. I'm just trying to have you understand that when we see certain branded items in our news feed, it's disruptive, right? So it's more in the news feed's perspective. That's all. So
I don't want, you don't have to belabor the same thing and explain it over and over to me as to why. I don't need to. All right, can we move on from this? Because all you're doing is belaboring this. Know that.
That's where we're on now. So, as you said, Roy,
I'm more interested in what are you going to do in this? Yes.
So you don't. So all we need to sort of look at what you've been doing and go and assess and tell you why. So this is a is not well written post, right? It's just chunky. It makes you look amateurish. So there's the.
I agree with you. My girlfriend's not an expert. That's what I'm telling you. She was just helping me out until you guys took over.
Yeah. So what we would do is tidy up this sort of thing. I think the other thing, so maybe, as you said, if you don't want us to look at the thing, because there's going to be a common theme that's through this, as you said. So you're going to say, well, okay, the more recent ones may not look as good as what they might have, but I'm just telling you why they might not have been successful for you as well, because you're getting all the time and the effort is being spent on this, and yet very little looks like it's being spent on this. And we've been taught to read the post, not to look at the image or the picture, right? So the post is so important, right? So you need to give people, how do I find out more? That's the main thing. And I think based on your point, maybe I just need to explain what we would do, right? Rather than labor, because I think I've got the same thing across the way. So basically Facebook owns Instagram, you understand that, right? So LinkedIn, we would post to your LinkedIn, but we would have a similar strategy in a way to what you were talking about before. I'm not going to look at your other ones. What I'm going to ask you, though, is the question, because let's just go to the model, because I want to talk through this model so you get what I'm trying to. And I'm starting to feel a little nervous because in terms of the point needs to be laboured in certain areas, right? So because the reason that you might not have achieved the results you might have liked to achieve before might be because of some of these reasons, right? I want to achieve a similar result for. Sorry, this is just loading. I want to achieve a similar result for you on your business as you feel that you're achieving with your LinkedIn profile. That's the only reason I was laboring the point around your LinkedIn profile, is because, well, how do you follow a similar approach so you feel like you're getting the benefits there that you're not, this is just loading, that you're not quite getting for your business, right? But so while this is loading, I'm going to ask you a question. All those bits of resource at the moment, you said they're sitting on Dropbox, but they're not on the website. Is that correct?
Well,
sorry,
what are you referring to? So I've got lots of product images or lots of videos.
Yeah.
There's no reason for me to have them on the website to use for social media.
I know, but the reason I say but you get the spin. I think what I'm trying to say to you here, while this is very slow loading, is that at the moment you seem to be doing a lot of social media for social media's sake. It's not a good approach, right? We use a website to social media approach, so you get the benefit not just of the social media, but you get the benefit of the search. So basically, if you load something to YouTube and then you load it as a blog, so that's those sort of things that you're doing on and you're comfortable to do on Bondi, you're aware of the benefit of that for not just you, but for the business, correct? Would you agree? They've been working for you, for not just for you, but for the business. I don't know why this is taking so long to load this particular page here, because I want to show you this point. Is that right, Roy? So
Yeah,
they'll be beneficial to you, right? Or you think they're going to be beneficial?
well, I think they are.
Yeah. So the reason I say that, to get the benefit, I don't know why this is not loading. I'm just going to grab the image. Sorry, give me 1 second. For some reason, my PDF form at times lets me down on this particular screen. So I'll just get the JPEG. You have seen it before, but I just want to make sure that we talk that through so you understand what the approach is, right?
The reason we asked if it's on your website is because we wanted to, your social media needs to be like a stepping stone, because people don't purchase from Facebook or LinkedIn or Twitter or Instagram.
Go to the website. I get that.
Yeah.
Get that.
Okay, so here's the image that I was just trying to load. I don't know why it's so slow on your PDF.
Yeah.
So let me just step through the approach, Roy. Okay, so and some of it we've talked through before, and I'm not telling you how to suck eggs, right? I'm just telling you how we do things and how there's certain things that we could probably do that just to tweak them to do them slightly better, right? So ultimately, we know you're a good business, so I don't have to labor this. You know your customer better than most, and you've got your offer is highly competitive, right? And you've already said to me and explained to me there's certain times if people want it in a hurry, well, you've got a premium for that, but they know they're getting good quality, and so you know your offer stacks up, right? What makes you different? Well, you've been in the industry, you're very highly networked, and so you're very good at what you do. This is the point I wanted to labour, and it's unfortunate. I just want you to get this, right. As soon as you put heavily branded images on social media, we don't like it, right? And Facebook doesn't like it either, right? Firstly, you can only promote pictures that have less than 20% graphic, right? So in other words, they don't want you to put graphic on. They want people to read the post. And even if it is a picture that's going across, because Facebook goes to Instagram, and even if when it is going to Instagram, you've got a call to action button. So you don't need to put a whole lot of graphic on the image, right? In fact, it's a complete waste of time. So we tell people to keep everything clean. Keep it clean. And the reason is not even because Facebook and Instagram doesn't like it and it has an impact on your algorithm. So in other words, less people see it. As soon as you start putting graphic on, Facebook just doesn't release as much of it, right? So less people get to put their eyes on it. The second thing is the people that you're wanting to see it don't like it either, right? So basically, they already can see your logo when it's in the feed. They already know which brand it's associated with, right? They're looking through their feed and they're going, oh, that's nice. Tiz has had lunch with her friends. She's had her B&I. Oh, that's good. Mary's over there watching a film. Oh, there's some merchandise, some latest merchandise from Out There Branding. Oh, that looks interesting. As again, because I'm following it, as against seeing a heavily productized, branded image in their social feed where they just react and go, oh, I don't want to see that, right? Our psychology is as soon as we see that, you're trying to sell me, right? And I don't want to see anybody that sells.
Steve, I'm going to stop you a sec, because all I want you to do is tell me what strategy you want to apply and tell me what you need from me to do it.
The only strategy that we want to apply is clean product images.
That's fine. Then tell me what you want from me.
Yeah, so that's basically
where you want to do it and how you're going to do it, and then do it.
So basically,
this whole story of trying to justify and explaining, it's not working for me. It's not getting through to me.
Yeah.
So just tell me. Everyone's got different viewpoints on it. I've worked with a whole lot of different people. The last people, attention experts, they said you have to have images. So if your way works differently, I'm all ears. I'm coming to work with you. Just tell me what you want from me, where you want me to put the stuff, and you guys go ahead and do it. And then we'll monitor it over a period of time. That's it, over and out. I'm not getting value out of what you're doing now.
Yeah.
I don't see any value in what you're telling me. Just go and prove it to me that what your system does works. Over and out.
Sure. So I don't know that I need to reshare it. I guess realistically, it's I'm finding it a little bit difficult to probably do that for you, Roy, because in fact, you are in a way case A for us, right? So we don't look at it just with Roy. We look at it in terms of Roy needs to. You're telling me you get it, but I just want to make sure that you understand. The reason we don't cost thousands of dollars per month is because of what I'm trying to explain to you, right? So, and the reason, the expectation. So essentially, to answer your question, what we need to do is basically have access to the images, but we do need to. You've told me and taught me to listen, right? Or you're going to teach me how to listen better. But this is a consult for no good reason, right? So I find consults are difficult if we don't get to give a consult. So because then we're hardly likely to achieve the results if people don't understand the results we're trying to achieve. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but you asked me, so here's how I see it. You asked me at the beginning, you said, what do you want to achieve from this?
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
And I said to you, I want to get brand awareness and I want to drive business so that I can get orders. So all I want you to do is explain to me how you're going to do that.
Okay, I'm going to explain to you that now. I'm going to finish off in this model, and then I'm going to go just to the proposal so we can have a look on that, right? Okay.
Because I've got to be on another call. I've got to be on another call at 11 o'clock.
Yeah, no, I was hoping we'd be off
and it's
after 45. And we're just
to 11.
Yeah, we're done. Yeah, well, so effectively, it's just the way we tend to do this, Roy. So we basically.
Well, you're not done because I've no idea what you intend to do. So you can't be done with me. So you've told me 45 minutes. I still have no idea what your plan is for me.
Yeah, so I feel like I'm not doing a very good job then. So basically, this is our approach. We tell people to make sure they put all their content on their website. At the moment, you're not doing that, right? So at the moment, you're telling me you're doing a lot of social media posts for social media's sake. So if you don't want to do that, that's going to be hard for us, right? Because we want to be able to repurpose the information.
Then what you do is you say to me, here's the things you have to do.
Yeah, we do that.
You have to have all these images have to be on your website.
Yeah, we
That's
do
it.
that.
All you have to do.
Yeah, we do that in a.
And I'll do it then.
We do that in the checklist in our sessions where we do the planning session, Roy. So basically, today is about the idea of just telling you what the step-through process, because we use a process that if you can't find it on the website, then you're not going to get the advantage of search as well. We need to be able to get the information to share it to the four most popular networks. And as I said, we want to give you the benefit over here as well. We know that basically less than 13% of businesses, Roy, and that would be just about 10% in B&I, have any strategy. So the reason I'm showing you this one sheet, and this is the only sheet I want you to be mindful of when you're in this strategy, is that you're one of only 10% of businesses, and you are a small business. You just happen to work with big businesses, right? But you're one of 10% that is looking at a strategy, and it sounds like you've looked at plenty of strategies, right? But our strategy is about sharing real images so that people will basically want to find out more and buy your service, right? We know that we do a setup and planning day, which is a once-off. It's a 5-hour day. It's $935. It's basically to make the changes that we need to make or we believe you should consider making. And as I said, even on your personal, there's some tweaks. Now, you might find, if you're finding 45 minutes and an hour tough, man, you may find a 5-hour session super tough, right? Because it is a long day. Tiz split it up into 3 hours plus 2 hours. But I think if you spoke to Tiz, she would say that she got a lot of value and a lot of understanding out of that, right? It's because it did sort of just help her tweak the way she thought about certain things, right? And then we either do a management. The management is either every second day posting and every second month reporting for $242 a month, or it's everyday posting and every month reporting for $374 a month. So it's a low entry level because we want people to advertise. As I said to you at the start, we're getting extremely high numbers. So Tiz is spending, I think, $5 a day on her advertising at the moment, and she's getting 30,000 people seeing her posts each week, right? Or not each week, sorry, each month. It's around about that sort of number, 30,000. It's a lot of people getting exposed, and it's not just any old people. It's target audiences that we're targeting it to, right? That she's sat down in a session and told us these are the people. This is where they live. This is what they're interested in. This is what they do. Because they're all the same people that are on LinkedIn, but they just happen to be on social media as well. It's all about newsfeed, Roy. I'm sure your strategy people have told you that. It doesn't matter whether it's LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter. or even Google My Business, but it's all about newsfeed. It has nothing to do with your page. No one is coming to your page, or very few people are coming to
I
your
get it. I get it.
site.
I understand that. I
Good.
clearly understand it.
That's good. So it's all about reach and eyeballs on the newsfeed, okay? And so that's where your brand awareness comes, and that's what we report on. And so what we encourage people to do is, like the things you've been doing, is to spend not the money on extra social media services, spend the money on better content. Do your videos, keep doing that. Do your extra time that you've been doing around your personal LinkedIn. That's fantastic. We might be able to give you a few little tips around that. We may or not be, but we might also be able to. Then you also spend your money around your ad campaigns, because realistically, for most companies, that's if instead of saying, "Oh, Steve, I want you to do more," they just say, "Steve, what else can I do?" And I just say, "Spend more money," right? Instead of
I
spending
get
$5
it. I
a day.
understand that.
Yep, yep.
Clear in my head. Tick that box.
Perfect. So that's all the proposal says as well. So realistically, oh, now it's over there. There you go. So clearly, we're having this
I've
session
seen all this.
today, Roy, which is around, we waived this session for people that progress with us, clearly because it's a lot of BNI people. And you know as well as I do, you've been in BNI long enough to know that we have every type of BNI person. So we give this $374 session, whether people are like you and know a lot, or whether they're people like you and know very little. In fact, it's more often the latter. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yep. So you understand the reason that I probably talk in the language that I do is because you're probably in a 5% category. You've been exposed a lot more than most other people, just so you're aware, right? Including, I would assure you, in your own BNI. And it's actually rare for people to have the poor experience that you've had. That's why I say you're in a 5%, because often those 5% are people that have been often a little bit burned by what they've done in the past. That's why it is important for me to explain to you why we're not going to burn you, right? It's not in my interest to burn anybody. I hate being burnt myself, right? So basically, the setup.
Okay, but what I mean is nobody. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
There's nobody that I mean, when attention experts came to me, they didn't say we want to work with you because we want to burn you.
No, of course they don't.
Nobody goes with that intention. But
No.
so I've chosen to work with you because I believe that you can deliver the results.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. So it's just being
Besides that you're a nice guy.
And you've told us from the outset it's brand awareness. So brand awareness is a very easy result for us to achieve, right?
Brand awareness and to start to generate
so
my
the
target
generation,
audience considering me for the next step.
generation. So what we use, I'm sure you've got the Facebook pixel sitting on your website at the moment. Is that correct? Roy, have you got the Facebook?
I'm pretty sure I have.
So
I'm pretty sure I have.
So
I don't know. Well, I'm looking at your screen, so I don't know. So I'll have to go and have a look.
So let me tell you, for slightly tricky customers like you who have done high experience and then come to us and we say, well, okay, 50,000 people have been seeing all your posts, and the pixel tells us that about 2,000 people are going through your website, and then Roy says to me, yeah, but no one's buying. Then I go, Roy, it's not social media's fault. Right. I go, Roy, maybe we need to make you look bigger. Put 1-300 number there. Roy, make sure that you're
I get all that.
You make sure that your call to actions are slightly stronger on your website. So that's basically,
I'm happy with that.
Yeah. So that's basically the sorts of tips and tricks that we would tell you, because often it's rare that it's social media's fault. That's why the pixel's so important. So yeah, we do the planning session. That's all one off. And then I would suggest to you, you'd probably doing a post a day minimum, because that would be consistent with what you've been doing. You've certainly got way more content. Realistically, we could even do more than that. But the reality for you is we do a strategic number of posts, and based just on the top of my head, but we work it out in a planning session. You might do a product type post on a Monday, a creative type post on a Tuesday, a why us on a Thursday, and a testimony type post on a Friday. Yep. So that would be the strategy, right? So that you're basically educating, and those people you're just educating, they're people that probably already know you and do already know you, right? It's the advertising strategy that's more about, okay, what do we want to say to them about why out there branding? And so it's the advertising strategy pointing to the right people to make sure you're getting exposure. Because I said to you last time, and you well and truly already know this, there's only two reasons to do marketing communications. It's to keep the people that already have you, and it's to get new people. The daily posts are to keep the people you already have. the advertising is to acquire people that don't know who Out There Branding is now, right? Or at least have had minimal exposure to you. Yeah. So that's the strategy. I'm going to stop sharing screen because I don't know if you're expecting more than that from this morning, and that would put us into time as well. So essentially the costs are in there. The only thing I haven't done is actually we usually qualify with people. We don't like to guess, but I do tell you that I would suggest we'd be doing a daily post to your Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and LinkedIn. And
which is the S.
Yeah, which is
the S for.
That's correct.
Yeah, I'm with that. Yeah, that's 100% what I want to do.
Yeah. So
Great.
So I think that would be awesome. And then it's just a matter. Would you want to break it up, Roy? Because I think you are a busy guy, and I think certainly Tiz found it beneficial to do the setup session on one day and the planning session on another. Do you want to do it that way, maybe?
Yeah. When you say setup,
so we do it. Yeah. We do it 3 hours.
Just explain to me what we're going to do the setup.
Yeah, it is already set up, but there's just some things that we want to. It's not set up consistently at the moment, right? So there's not a consistency across the brand on the social media sites. Twitter's actually says that it's got a ban on it, so we need to work out why that is. We can't tell. We can't tell if they're integrated. We need to integrate them. We need to set it up on a scheduling platform. We want to make sure that your Instagram posts go through to your Twitter. We want to make sure that your Roy posts go through to your Twitter.
So what do you need? So what do you need me for that for?
Yeah, so we need you to basically, because you drive the car, we need you to give us the keys, and we need to, at minimum.
I'll give you the login. So what do you need? What else do you need from me? That's what I'm trying to work out.
Yeah.
Sometimes the logins require verification codes that will go to your email.
All right. So then what you'll do is you'll tell me that I've done this before. So you just told me I'm doing this now. Please be available if there's any any verifications. Then I know. No problem.
So we allow. It's going to take us at least 3 hours to do what we would normally do. We like the person to be there, even if they're completely busy and have to take lots of calls and do lots of things. We just need them to be there, because what often happens, unlike yourself maybe, is they don't. I've had plenty of people that don't even own their own social media, and then it's very hard for them to go and get keys back. So you clearly have that, but often people, it's also having to explain to them there's only 2 social medias that actually have shared passwords. The 2 social medias that have shared passwords are Instagram and Twitter. All the rest of them I manage as Steve, and Emily manages Emily, and we go into the Facebook page, and you give us admin to those things, right? So know that, but you need to be available to do that, because as Emily said, there's basically a requirement that goes through email. It could be phone, and we need to confirm what shared passwords we're going to have. We just need you to understand what we're doing, but it doesn't need to be onerous, Roy. I get the feeling
you don't have to get me to understand it, because I've done this before. So what we did before was, attention experts, we created one password across the board, and everything was converted to that password.
Yeah, that's a dangerous way to do things. And
then you'll tell me another way.
Yeah, I don't suggest you do that. As I said to you, there's only 2.
So then you'll tell me another way.
Yeah, so I'll tell you that that's not the way we would do it. So I don't believe that's a good thing for you from an equity point of view. And I'm
confirming to you, I'm happy for the change. You don't have to justify it again.
That's why the setup session is so important.
That's fine.
It's because we need to see how you've done it in the past, because that suggests to me that you have co-ownership. And I think you need to have ownership, right? So basically, and you probably do have ownership, I'm sure now, because they've gone. But the reality is, we'll set it up the way it should be set up, so that you as a business have the ownership, because you're not going to do this forever. Out There Brands is a valuable business as well. You want to have something, so your socials are something you could probably sell as part of the business as well. And you need to know that they're set up in such a way that basically, if you were selling the business, you would sell it holus bolus, right? That's the other thing. You may never sell it. I don't know. Some people like to think they'll hold on to it forever. I don't know. But the reality is, these are assets. And so, we'll go through it is a checklist session. That's all. So we step by step. Yeah. And so on that basis, Roy, it'd be a matter of, we would send you that checklist. It would just be a matter of saying, okay, when would you like to do this? And so we use a thing called Basecamp, which is project management tool, and we bring it all into Basecamp. We bring you in. Have you familiar with that? Have you ever heard of Basecamp before? No? No, so Basecamp's just a good way of making sure no information gets lost, right? So basically, if Roy tells us something like today.
Okay, you don't have to explain it to me. You tell me that's what you do. I'm happy with it.
Yeah, no worries. All right. Yeah. So we use Basecamp. We'll invite you on that. That'll put everything in there. It'll keep all the information in one place. We won't. So that way we'll know that's how we communicate. It sends emails still. But that's the next step. The next step is just then saying, okay, yeah, I want to go ahead, and when would you like to do it? So that's probably the next thing is trying to set it into your session, your schedule, where you've needed sort of 3 + 2 hours at least to be available to us. That's all. As I said, understand.
100%.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we don't need to do that necessarily right now, but if you'd like to, we can.
I can't. I'm going on to a call at 11 o'clock. It's 2 minutes to 11.
So come back to us when that might suit you. Generally, Tuesdays and Thursdays are our best days. So Tuesdays and Thursdays, just keep in mind they'd be the best.
Just send me an email and say, these are the days, here's the times, can you fit in with us? And I'll tell you which. So next week is out. I've just got a very, very, very hectic week.
No worries.
Okay.
So you just tell me, just send me an email and say, you're the best days for us. Here's the best times. Choose something in those times.
Yeah, what I'll do, Roy, is I'll send you the checklist details, so you've got that, and we'll just say to be confirmed, but Tuesdays and Thursdays are the best days. Yep, sounds good.
Perfect.
Awesome.
Thank you. Sorry for running so close to your time.
Yeah, no, I'm in it, so it's not like I'm still,
Right.
you don't have to sell it to me. I've told you that I'm in.
Thank you, Roy.
I have to go because I've got 11 o'clock. Yeah, the guys. Hold a sec.
Thanks.
Hold a sec. This guy's just said he's going to be a few minutes late. Okay, just hold on a sec. Just give me 1 sec.